Now, we're talking about, ironically, because we just mentioned party people, about loneliness.
Yeah, the opposite.
But then you can be in the centre of a party and be the loneliest one there. There's no doubt about that. You can just be in the corner watching everybody else having a good time.
Yeah.
We're talking about loneliness because a survey has said, and this may surprise you listening to 5 Live, that it's actually young adults aged between 16 to 24 who, more than any other group, are most likely to say they're feeling lonely. We have a great cast of people to speak to. We've got Mark Rowland, who is director of the charity, the Mental Health Foundation, 19-year-old Lauren Thomas, who's an ambassador for the charity Action for Children, and also Georgina Lawton, who's a writer and journalist. We also have Nathaniel Hawley from Exceptional Individuals, which is an employment partnership for people with hidden disabilities. Nathaniel, thank you for being part of the conversation this afternoon.
Oh no, thank you. It's my pleasure.
You've been in London a few years now. What was it like for you when you first arrived?
I mean, I guess I came from Southampton, well, a small town called Eastleigh, and London is a bit daunting, definitely. It's massive, it's spread all over the place. You get there and you know a few people that already live in London, and you're like, oh, okay, let's meet up. Where are you? And you realise they're at least an hour away. So, yeah, it's difficult sometimes.
Maya, you share this experience, right,
Yeah.
of moving from somewhere to London.
Yeah, I get it. So did you have many friends when you first moved, or was it just like 2 or...
I mean, I knew people, I think, like acquaintances and that. I was definitely one of my first friends to move to London.
Okay.
I'm quite fortunate now that they're all here, but it definitely took time for everyone to get over.
Yeah, and then did you find yourself quite isolated? What did you do with your time?
I mean, that's the thing. I think people generally come from university and then move to London. University is this really close environment. There's lots of community. And you get to London and suddenly no one has the time of day for you.
Yeah.
So I think there's lots to do in London, but it takes time to kind of get your feet on the ground. And as long as you can get over that kind of adjustment period, you're okay. But the first bit's a bit difficult.
Super difficult. And did you notice it had any impact on your personality or how you were acting, not really having anybody to speak to?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, before I came here, I was like really lively, energetic, always going out, really social. And then as soon as I get to London, I realise that, okay, well, it takes me like an hour to get to work. Then I'm just doing my job. Then I get back, I'm just knackered. And like where I would have like, I'd be walking up the road and be like, oh, all right, Keith, all right, Brian. Yeah, now there's no Keith, no Brian.
Yeah. Where are the Keiths? Yeah. No, I fully understand that. And could you or would you admit to yourself that, okay, I am lonely, this is a lonely period of my life, or were you kind of in a bit of denial? Or?
I mean, I guess I didn't really like to use the word lonely because it has so many stigmas attached. As soon as you say you're lonely, people think, oh, you're depressed. Then they jump the gun and think, oh, you're suicidal. Oh, no, I just feel a bit down, man. Like, yeah. And I think looking back on it, yeah, I definitely was. But I might not self-describe myself.
Yeah. And what did you do to help the situation, if anything?
I mean, it took a while to get to this stage, but when I was in a good position, I think I started to rebuild my community. Rather than having a natural community such as like a school, a university, which you're kind of forced into, you've got to start creating it yourself. And actually this can be quite empowering because you can choose. So I've got like a dyslexia, a mild autism, and I found there's loads of communities in London. So I can speak to people just like myself. That kind of got me into the job I'm doing now. I enjoy doing politics. I enjoy doing volunteering. So I think you've got to be quite proactive. Yeah. But if you can get that initial drive, there's lots out there.
Nathaniel, do you think it's harder for young men to admit this?
I think, you know, with anything which is kind of like a bit more softer, it's more difficult for men. So to talk about mental health, to talk about disabilities, to talk about depression, feelings, and that's just due to like societal stigmas. I think it's kind of getting better with like maybe the younger generation, but these thoughts are definitely still there.
Maya, it seems so difficult to get over. You know, because if you're not going to, you know, you're not going to fix the housing problem short term, that's for certain. Yeah. You're not going to stop people, as Georgina pointed out, you're not going to stop people from suddenly using their social media and saying, actually, probably need to have a bit more physical relationship, actually see my friends in physical form. These are not easy things to overcome. It
is difficult. I think even with me, because I'm quite an outgoing, confident person, And I struggled to meet new people and make new friends. I can't even imagine how it would be for somebody that's a bit, whether you're shy or not as outspoken or whatever it is, would be incredibly difficult in a massive city if you don't have anybody around you. But I'm not actually sure what the solution is, like the perfect solution, because I suppose it's different for everyone in a sense, but definitely more face-to-face contact is needed. But then how do you go about that?
Do you think it's easier for young women to talk about this than young men?
I think typically women are more open with their feelings. Just that's how it's been. But I don't know. I hope it changes. I feel like the conversation around speaking about feelings and about emotions is much bigger now than it's ever been, and hopefully that leads to more men being comfortable and able to speak openly about what they're going through and what they're dealing with. But yeah, it's like Nathaniel said, it's the stigma around it that I think holds a lot of people back.
It must have meant that you were very proud of your other half when he was very clear about what he had been through in terms of mental health. You must have been very proud of that.
Super proud. I think that's a massive step, and especially for young people or people going through similar situations, to see somebody that they potentially look up to or in a position that he's in, to be able to speak about that, I think makes a huge, huge impact.
And thank you to everybody else that was part of this conversation so far. Mark Rowland, director of the charity The Mental Health Foundation, 19-year-old Lauren Thomas, an ambassador for the charity Action for Children, which is a very good charity. Nathaniel Hawley from Exceptional Individuals, thank you to you. And Georgina Lilton for joining us and to have this conversation about loneliness. We've got two big guests coming up after 2. We have the BAFTA-nominated TV writer Jed Mercurio from Line of Duty.
Yep, and soul singer John Newman is back in with new music.
First for news and the best live sport. This is BBC5 Live.